Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knifejaw Ruby on Rails class orientation. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're probably like, Knifejaw, what did I just get myself into? Um, we base all of our classes off of some kind of naming convention, some kind of naming theme. All of our Ruby on Rails classes are named after fish, and knife jaws are the little black and white striped fish with sharp teeth and a parrot-like beak. They're found in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. If you play Animal Crossing New Horizons, then you can catch them, and they're pretty valuable, and they're just really cool looking fish because they're black and white stripy. So it's pretty fun. All right, so that's the name of your class, Knife Jaw, and that's why you're called Knife Jaw. All right. Moving right along, you all have gone through the welcome process, the new registration process, which was probably like, what is this for any returning students? And which was probably like, oh, okay, I'm going to get this done for any new students. We did revamp our registration process a little bit. There probably will be ongoing changes. We're kind of testing it out to see what's the best way to get the huge quantity of information out to students in a manageable piece instead of just forcing all of it at you at an hour and a half long or 2 hour long orientation where it's like maybe I'll remember what they said and maybe I won't. So we're kind of spreading it out over a process. So thank you for going through the first part of the registration process. We are in the orientation part. And then the final part is to do your week 0 assignments. You will not have a coding assignment that week. It's just like copy and paste the link to where you would access your mentor session schedule or tell us the name of your cohort leader, things that so that we can be sure that you know what your resources are and where to find them. So that's heads up looking forward for what's going on next. We are going to show you everything that you need for class tonight. In fact, here is our agenda. So we're going to talk a little bit about your class, sort of how it's structured, who all's involved. You're going to get to meet each other a little bit. We'll cover class tools, what's expected of you in the program, and then what resources are available to you. So to kick us off, Diana, if you would like to talk a little bit about who's who and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Diana. I am your cohort leader for this Knifejaw cohort. Um, so a lot of these slides should look a little familiar because you went through them in the introductory playlist. So we won't spend too much time on all of them. But anyway, so who's who? I'm your cohort instruction leader, as we said. I am like the department head of your Ruby course. Above me is Mary Alice. I guess you're acting as the registrar. And I'm kind of just in the middle, coordinating everything. And then below, we have one-on-one mentors, group session mentors, and assignment reviewers. Some people are more than one of these. Some people are only one of these. You'll get a feel for it as time goes on. But if you have any technical questions about your assignments or coursework, then you can talk to one of your one-on-one mentors or assignment reviewers. If you have a question about anything else, you could talk to me, or if when in doubt, if you ask me a question, I will pass your question along to who you should be asking that to. So yeah, so that's me. I will be on Slack bugging you most weeks. I'll be posting in your announced channel. We'll cover that later in a Slack slide with your weekly assignment and any reminders for that week. Otherwise, I might just be in touch randomly, or if you fall behind. And even if I don't get in touch with you, you can get in touch with me if you have any questions about if your assignments aren't getting reviewed, or you have a question about one of the resources or to find something and you tried looking in the handbook and you couldn't find it. I can also help with technical things, but we try to steer you towards the mentors in that case. But again, when in doubt, you can always contact me and I'll get you in touch with somebody.
Exactly. If you don't get yourself to the right person, that person will get you to the right person. So definitely ask somebody if there is a question that you have. Try and go for the right person. If you get it wrong, that's okay, and they'll redirect you. Okay. Diana, do you want to let them know what they'll be doing in the breakout rooms I'm about to put them all into?
Yes, so in breakout rooms, we're going to take about 5 minutes so you can get to know each other, or at least get to know a few of each other. Um, Here you can turn your cameras on, just kind of chat without me and Mary Alice on the call in case we were very intimidating. And so we suggest you share your name, preferred pronouns, location if you're comfortable, one of your favorite things, and what you're most excited for or scared about for this upcoming class.
Awesome.
So I guess
Thanks,
Mary
Diana.
Alice is gonna open up the breakout
I
rooms.
sure am. Yeah. So if you're fairly new to Zoom, I'm going to create these breakout rooms. It's just a little subset of you. There'll be 4 people to a room roughly. You'll have a pop-up window that shows up on your Zoom and it'll say the host is inviting you to join breakout room number whatever and a blue join button. So just click the blue join button and that'll pop you in there. I'm going to give you all about 5 minutes. Make sure everybody in your group shares information so you get to know each other. I'll put a reminder up about 2 minutes before we're done so that way you know and everybody gets a chance. And then at the end of 5 minutes, then we'll just bring everybody on back and we'll keep on going with our presentation. All right, without further ado, creating breakout rooms and opening them. We'll see y'all in about 5 minutes.
Well, yep. So welcome back. Now we're going to go over some of the tools you'll be using in class, as this is an online asynchronous learning kind of deal. A lot of it, or actually really all of it's going to happen online, obviously. So we want to make sure that you're comfortable with all of the tools we're going to use. So let's start with Zoom, which we are all on right now. So it looks like y'all made an account. Um, we are gonna encourage you now to give you some time now to play around with all the different parts of it. There's the chat box where you can write what your favorite thing was or any other thing you want to write. There's emojis. There's also on the bottom bars where you're going to find all of your options, including joining the breakout rooms, which you were just in. Um, and the react button is going to be a good one. You might be using that. Your mentor sessions might incorporate use of these emojis and reactions, including the raise hand option. So I don't know, Mary Alice, I think you had more
Yeah,
of a vision for how we're going to do this.
exactly. Yeah. So to start off, just to make sure that you're comfortable using your camera, obviously not everybody's on camera right now. Not everybody wants to be on camera right now, and that's okay. So if you don't want to be on camera, just put your thumb over your camera lens, but turn your video on and off like this. So that way we just can see you kind of flash on and off on the camera and make sure that everybody's doing good. Okay, nice. I'm going to stop share while we play around a little bit so that we can see you all. Look at you all popping in and out. I love it. That's great. Okay, so for our next fun thing, all of you are muted right now. I want everybody to unmute and either make a crazy noise or say hi or whatever you want to do, just so that way we know you got your audio.
Hi.
Nice. I see some mics
Hello.
popping on and off.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Aw, I love getting to hear you all.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have pets or children around, they can come on and say hello if you want to. That's totally fine. Okay, perfect. And make sure that you put yourself back on mute, or I can also do it from my end too. So if you forget, that's all right. Or if you have trouble getting to it, that's fine. Okay, so we've used audio, we've used video. Those are your primary ones. Let's go ahead and use the chat. Some of you have already used it. If you have not seen it or used it, there should be a little speech bubble icon at the bottom in the middle of your Zoom. So go ahead and click that to open your chat. And then feel free to just say hi, say where you're from, put down your favorite flavor ice cream, whatever you want. And go ahead and just pop that in the chat right now. Yes, Diana, exactly. Hot, hot, hot. Nice, wonderful. Yay. Hi, everybody. Okay, keep using the chat so that way as we move on, you can get comfortable with seeing that, finding that, and definitely feel free to use the chat tonight if you have any questions that come up while we're going through stuff. Okay, let's see here. Next is those reactions Diane was talking about. Those are right next to the chat button. It's a little heart icon at the bottom in the middle. So go ahead and do some kind of reaction. You can either do it with an effect like this, if you're feeling particularly amorous like Diana and I are. You can also just do a reaction with a little face. You can raise your hand if you want to, and lower your hand if you want to. You can also tell the speaker to, hey, you're talking too slow, speed up. So definitely feel free to utilize any of those in your group sessions or anytime you're on a call. It's a helpful way to be able to interact with the speaker. Nice. Okay, cool. And then the last tool we'll have you test, kind of, is the share button. So when you're in your group mentor sessions, you probably will encounter some point in time in which you want to share your screen so they can take a look at your code, so you can visually show them the error you're getting or walk them through like what happens right before you get an error or whatever. So click the green rectangle with the up arrow share button and it should bring up a modal. You don't actually have to share screen right now, but take a look at the options that are on there. You should see an option to share like just a tab or just a window, an entire screen. If you have multiple screens, you can share like an entire screen and decide which one you want. Yeah, see, there we go. Hey, Rob. Um, so that's perfect. And then you're good to go. So get comfortable with those. Feel free to like, if you have your personal Zoom account, you can start a Zoom call and just play around with them a little bit. If you're like, I don't like Zoom, I'm having trouble with Zoom, feel free to do that between now and when your class starts to just get a little more comfortable with it. Great. Okay, you guys are all Zoom pros, right? So we can move right along. Yeah. Beyond Zoom, you will be using the Learns app the most. Obviously, Zoom is going to be your mentor sessions, so that's going to be, utilized weekly. And then your Learns app also will be multiple times a week because that houses all of your lessons, all of your coding assignments, has some other good resources and everything in there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Before I start screen sharing to show you what it's like, I'm dropping this in the chat. It's the link for you to be able to get in there. New students, the first time you go to log in, or students who are returning from a couple seasons, semesters, trimesters, whatever, students coming back to us. If you haven't logged in in a while, you might have to re-log in. You'll use your GitHub to be able to log in. So just make sure that you are logging in. If you are not able to get in, then either Slack DM me if you're already in our Slack workspace or message me here in the chat and let me know that you're getting an access denied. But everybody should be able to log in. You will not be able to get into your lessons yet. So July 2nd is when your class officially starts, week 0. You'll definitely be able to see it then. I think our project manager bumped it out so you could see it as soon as June 30th, a couple of days before the class officially starts. So June 30th to July 2nd, somewhere in there, you'll definitely be able to get in and actually take a look at stuff. All right, now you can either work and play along at home a little bit as we're kind of clicking through some of these features, or if you want to just pay attention to what I'm doing on this end, then that's fine too. I am already logged in here. You'll see your name and student down here at the corner. That's how you know that you're logged in. If any of you are helping as mentors, like assignment reviewers or anything for the intro class, then you'll be able to toggle between your student and mentor role there as well.
And you make sure to share your screen, Mary Alice.
Oh, duh. Oh my gosh. See, I am not a Zoom pro. Thank you, Diana. No, I'm just late in the evening and not paying attention. Here we go. All right. Thanks, Diana. Okay. So I'm already logged in this area is where if you are also helping out with assignment review for intro class, then you can toggle between student and mentor. If you're like me and the brightness bothers you after a little while, you can toggle to dark mode. So feel free to utilize that for any kind of accessibility needs or wants. Usually your dashboard is the first thing that you'll see when you sign in. A lot of you have taken multiple classes with us, so you can access those classes through the drop down here. If this is your first and only class with us, then you won't have the drop down and this will just be your Knifejaw Ruby on Rails information. I needed to try and readjust this a little bit. Oh wait, no, that's right. Since class hasn't started yet, then it's not showing my full dashboard. It's just showing my class information. Let me jump to a course that is in session just so you can see what it winds up looking like. Where's my jellyfish at? There it is. Okay. So the dashboard, oh, here we actually know. See, I even forgot to use my own toggle. Here we go. Okay. So usually your dashboard's going to have assignments where it'll show the last week, the current week, and the upcoming week. Our team is building out a feature. I don't know if it'll be ready during your all's class or not, but we are building out a feature so you can see all of your assignments for the duration of the class. These little orange boxes will update when you've submitted, when it's under review, if it's been approved, if it needs revisions. So you'll have an idea of where things are at with your assignments there. You'll also get email confirmations though once your assignment's been reviewed with either assignment successful or assignment needs revisions. It has the schedule briefly so that way you can click to the current week. And then it has connections, little links down here to be able to join the group mentor session, jump over to Slack announcements, jump to Slack discussion. If Slack is blowing up on you and you need to get in touch with Diana, then you can do class email or get to your mentor session schedule. So all of that information is available on your dashboard. The courses part is where it'll list courses that you've had. As you can see, some are upcoming, some are getting ready to start very soon, some are already completed if you've already completed with us. That just shows you whether or not the class is in session or if the class is over. Cool. Okay, so jumping into our Knifejaw. Hold on, I gotta go back a couple of steps to be able to get to it. Here we are. Okay. You're going to have your weekly schedule out under the class calendar portion to be able to work through your lessons each week. Weeks are numbered, start dates are Wednesdays, due dates are Tuesdays, and those dates are shared here so that way you can see. And you click on them to be able to get into your lesson. You can also kind of page through them if you need to. It'll have your learning objectives, lesson material content that you'll read through, and then coding assignment. Any kind of coding assignment instructions will be there. Mindset assignment isn't coding specific. It's just like how to debug, problem solving strategies, how to deal with imposter syndrome, stuff like that. Those of you returning, you've seen these before, so just answer the questions anew from your new perspective in the Ruby on Rails class. And then continue to submission form will take you to the form that allows you to plug in the link to your code for the coding assignment for the week and let us know if you have any questions. Give us feedback about if the class is well balanced or if there was one week that was too difficult, one week that was too easy, all of that good stuff. All right. Any questions about those details? We've seen dashboard, light and dark mode, courses, course calendar. All right, cool. And then the resources tab does have some information like about our apprenticeship, class resources like Git process for how to be able to, fork or clone, and then branch, do a pull request, merge, all those good things. So that's all available there if anybody needs it. And then we also have some career development things in there, job search strategies, cover letters, things like that, in case you want to start getting your feet wet and looking at those things. Any questions about the Learns app? I know many of you are familiar with it. Anybody that's new, if you have questions, now is a great time to ask. Cool, cool. Okay. So let me jump back to our orientation. Nope, not that one. This one. Here we are. Okay, so yeah, the green button at the bottom of your lesson page will take you to the assignment submission form. Let me give you a visual on that really quick too, so that way you can see. Using the button at the bottom will pre-fill the lesson information to you, so that's going to be the best way to do it. But in case there's ever an issue, if Learns app is down and you need to submit your homework like right then, we do have the link to the form as a backup in your Slack announcements channel. But this is what your form looks like. Again, your assignment will be pre-filled if you're using it from the lesson page. Anything with a red asterisk is required, so be sure to fill that information out. And then anything else is optional, so share whatever information would be helpful. New this time around, a couple of you might have seen this in this last term because I think we added it about midway through classes, is information about AI. You are going to have a new tool this class that we'll be covering in just a minute called your AI assignment review tool. You can use AI to write small bits of code in your advanced classes. That is okay with our AI policy. But the majority of your coding assignments each week should be written by you. That should be what you've built. And wherever you do use AI, then you should let us know in this box saying, I used it to refactor a search query that I had or whatever. So however you use it, share that information with us here. The reason we're asking this is because it helps us know how are students using it, where are students using it, so we can figure out what's the best way to like supplement learning with it in a productive way. Because as we know, it can be productive or it can be counterproductive. If you rely too heavily on it, you don't learn anything because the AI has done everything for you and your brain muscle atrophies. But if you are using it the right way, then it helps you pick things up a little bit quicker because it can re-explain something in a new way. It can translate something into a native language. It can help you with time management. I don't know, all kinds of great things. So that kind of touches on our AI policy a little bit, and it shows you our submit assignment form. Moving right along, unless there's any questions, we're going to kick over to, I keep picking the wrong one. Sorry, here we go. All right. We are going to skip on along to our next topic, which is the AI review tool. Let me go ahead and put the link for this in the chat for you as well too. And feel free to play around with it while we're talking a little bit. You won't have any code to feed it at the moment, but it will be a pretty helpful thing to utilize. So I'm just going to kind of show you how it works. You'll log in with GitHub the same way you logged into the Learns app. Um, we do have Node and Python here. For those of you that are dual enrolled and you're in one of those two classes, we are not testing this out with those classes because there's still some things that are kind of off with our prompts. So do not use it for your Node or Python class if you're dual enrolled. But you can definitely use it for the Ruby on Rails class. So make sure you have that selected when you're logged in. You would just select which lesson week number you're on, and then you would paste your pull request link here for your coding assignment. We do have the instructions for that coding assignment in this window here, so that way you can take a look and kind of refresh your memory on what all it was. And then once you click AI review, then it'll populate what the results are. So it'll let you know, yeah, great, you satisfied all of the AI or all of the assignment requirements. Or it'll let you know, like, actually, in this section, it appears that there was some kind of mistake that was there. You might want to take a look at that. So it'll give you some pretty good feedback, and it'll give you feedback quicker than potentially scheduling a one-on-one for later in the week with a mentor or trying to find somebody who's available when and where you need them. So it's just a helpful tool to kind of supplement with. The other things that are feature-wise on this is the history button. So you can submit multiple times for the same lesson, and it will keep a history of the submissions that you did for that particular week's lesson here. So while I've got lesson 4 selected, then it would show me all the instances that I submitted for lesson 4. You'll have a button available as well to both here and on your feedback to let us know if it's telling you something wrong. So you can be like, no, AI was wrong about this. And that will be very helpful to us because then we can retool any kind of prompting that we do. It does also have a chat feature. So if you're just like, tell me what Ruby is, then it will give you information. So you can ask it about like bits and pieces of various things. You will definitely still be having a human reviewer. Thank you, Tristan. Does not replace your human reviewers. This is just an added like first round of getting things looked at. So that way you can get feedback a little bit quicker and you're not waiting on a reviewer or anything like that. You can go ahead and take a look at it through AI review and then submit it on time and a human reviewer will take a look at things. But feel free to utilize it. If anything goes wrong with it, then there is a bug report feature down here. So you can always let them know, hey, there's some kind of issue about whatever's happening. Like, nothing's working. It's not loading. It's not loading the page or whatever. So feel free to share that information. Try and use it every week because we're beta testing it with you all. We're beta testing it with the React group. We've already had a version of this running with the intro class and it's done pretty well. Um, oh, Daria, yeah, you might have to give it authorization within Chrome to mark it as a safe site to be able to access. Um, and your mentors can kind of help walk you through that for getting it up and running on Chrome if you need to. Um, but yeah, if you can beta test it for us, try it every week, try it every other week, and give us feedback about, yeah, this is looking great, this was really helpful, or yeah, it's cumbersome to use, or it's giving me weird answers. Anything along those lines would be really helpful since we're kind of testing it out and making sure everything's working well. Any questions about this tool? Anything else you want to see about this tool? Nice. Okay. All right. So just as a reminder, since we're talking about AI, policy is the bulk of your content, the bulk of your coding assignment needs to be written by you. You can use it for little tiny bits and pieces here to kind of help streamline things, make things a little bit quicker, because you likely will have to use it even a little bit, maybe a lot bit when you're in the job. So, getting comfortable with it is going to be helpful for you, and being able to gradually get used to when you can call AI on its BS and be like, no, that's wrong, AI. That is also an extremely helpful skill to learn and will impress the people that you are working for and with. All right. Okay, moving right along. Our next section is Slack. Diana, would you like to give a little tour of Slack? I'll pull it up and kind of walk them through it while you're sharing info about it.
Sure. Slack is going to be our main communication tool. It's also used by many employers, so it's good to get used to it now. You'll be part of a few channels, and including the announcements channel, which is where I'll post more official announcements of what your lesson is that week, any announcements about Code the Dream closures or any other reminders I might have. Often group mentors also post reminders of when their mentor sessions are going to be, so it's good to have those notifications turned on. Discussion is where you'll ask questions in an asynchronous way to everyone who's in that channel, which will include all the students and all the mentors. So any one of us can help you out with that, with any questions you have there. And then we'll also have an outlet channel, which is more of a social channel. But yes, it's very important that you get familiar with Slack and you get used to either checking it every day or setting the notifications to a frequency that you will actually pay attention to because it is where you're going to get all the information for class. And it is the best way to get in touch with everybody since we'll all be part of this workspace. You can just type in part of our name in the search box and then message us if you have any questions.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Diana. I went ahead and put the link for it in the chat right now, so feel free to log in and test it a little bit. We're going to play around with it. So if you're safely sitting and not multitasking right now and you can pull it up and play with it a little bit, that would be great. Go ahead and log in if you haven't logged in. Those of you who are brand new to us, you should have gotten an email from Slack, not from Code the Dream, earlier today inviting you to our workspace. First thing we want you to do is go to your profile. So you should have a little icon, avatar, something down in the bottom left corner. Click on that and go to profile. And then click edit on your profile and it'll pull up this information. Include your full name, include your display name. Be sure to put something similar to the name we have on file for you. Sometimes we've had folks put like nicknames that are not even remotely close to what their given name was that they provided us with. And mentors are like, this student doesn't exist. And I'm like, yes, they do. I just have to find them by their email and tell you what name they put under. So please save yourselves and us a little bit of trouble and include your real name in some way, shape, or form in those. For your display name, it's also really helpful to do dash and then Knifejaw. A lot of our volunteers will help out with multiple classes, so it will be easier for them to just glance at your name and be like, oh, okay, this is one of my Ruby on Rails students, great. And they'll know exactly what, things they need to pull up to be able to answer your questions. So go ahead and update that information, click Save Changes. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, the next tidbit that we're going to go with here is to go to your discussion channel. So you should see a Knifejaw discussion there. Feel free to post anything you want there. I'm going to put a smiley face. Post anything you want in the discussion channel. Discussion channel is mostly going to be where you'll ask questions. Announcements are for like Code the Dream staff to let you know about things coming up. For Diana to give you announcements about, hey, this is the week we're starting, or here was a really great resource tool, or, to GitHub's down or whatever, and, just make you aware of anything that's going on. Oh, look at that cute bear. Thanks, Diana. All right, nice. So go ahead and pop things up in the discussion channel. All right, and then next click on your announcements channel. And you'll notice that there is a tab at the top that says Knifejaw class information, and it has some of those pretty Knifejaw fish that I did a very sloppy Photoshop job on. But they are there to help you realize that you're in your class information section. And this has every link you could ever possibly need for your class. It has to get into CTD Learn's app. It has to get to your Kiwi. That's not right. I need to update that. To get to your Knifejaw class specifically. Um, and sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. Let me jump back here to Knifejaw. Um, it will have all of the links that you could possibly need to get you where you need to go. Sorry, guys, that's actually going to take me a little bit longer than I thought, so I will get that corrected as soon as we're done with the call. Um, Assignment submission form in case that Learns app is down and you need to submit your homework. To be able to find your reviewer and section leader. This is weird. I think it didn't save any of my changes because I updated all of this yesterday, but all of this is looking like it's old links. So I'll get all of these corrected at the end of this call. But yeah, to be able to figure out who your reviewer is, to see who the mentors are that you can work with. Yep, see, that's pulling up the wrong one too. Yours will say Knifejaw one-on-one mentors, and it will show you who the mentors are for your class, pronouns, locations, when they're usually available, bio, languages that they speak. To schedule with somebody, click on the blue bar, select mentor session, find a day that they're available, pick a time that works for you, enter in the information, and it'll email you and them so that way you both know this is the date and time that we agreed on meeting. So yeah, everything you could need will be here. Student handbook, your AI assignment review tool, um, Zoom link to join group sessions, how to contact Diana, how to contact me or any other CTD staff members that you might need to intersect with. And then as we get confirmation from our mentors who are finishing their training this week, as far as what day and time their group sessions are going to be, then we'll have this filled out. And that's where you'll be able to see who has what sessions on what days and times. So be sure to check out the class information channel as we get closer to the start of class. All right. So the other thing I wanted to show you is in this channel, you can post threads to be able to reply to people. So to post a thread, click on the little speech bubble here, and then you can say, this is a reply. You can also react to the post with emojis, as a couple of you did in the discussion channel. So feel free to utilize those tools when you're in Slack as well. Everybody feel pretty good on Slack? Anybody have questions about it that I need to cover? Yeah, there's a couple questions about the kinds of channels that you have. Announcements will be staff and Diana sharing announcements with you, discussions where you can have all those conversations. You'll be in this K group outlet. This actually connects you with people in the React and Node classes as well too, so you can be networking a little bit if you'd like to. And it's just like a social space for you to be able to talk to each other. You will also have all student convo, all random, and all announcements. All announcements will be like from Code the Dream organization if we're going to have a hackathon, if there's some kind of promotion that a partner organization is doing, all of that kind of stuff, then that'll be shared there. All student convo has like basically every student we've ever had in it. So it's a very big channel in case you want to just put something out into the ether to be like, hey, how many people in this channel love Ruby? Okay, great. So feel free to do anything of that variety. All right, yay, hi Fong. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and jump back and keep on moving. We have covered our Slack. GitHub, Diana, what were some of the specific things you'd like to show on GitHub or talk to students about so that way they're aware and kind of have it on their horizon?
Nothing in particular. I can just talk about it a little bit, but I wasn't prepared to demo it.
Okay.
Yeah, so GitHub, if you're not familiar with it, it's a kind of digital platform where you can keep your code. It's where you will upload basically or push your code from your local machine so that the rest of us can see it. And so your reviewers can look it over, and you can make pull requests, which are basically, if you're not familiar with them already, just kind of like requests to, or it's a format in which someone can see changes in code that you've made, so they can easily see what you've added in your app, or if you've added another text file with answers to questions, which will happen early on in your course. So It's a little bit bewildering at first. So and as well as Git, I think every developer is on some part of their Git journey. No one's a full expert because there's just too many commands to learn. So it'll all make sense as you go along. But
Yeah.
so yeah, if you have any questions about using Git or GitHub, just contact me or one of the mentors and we'll walk you through it.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Diane. The other things I like to point out, if you're ever forking any of the repositories for class, when you do your pull request, make sure that your base is to your base and not to Code the Dream School. Um, Otherwise, it's going to try and merge your homework into our blank workbook of a starter repository for you. So, and you'll have to redo your pull request and get it from whatever your working branch was to whatever your main branch is. So these should be short like this. They should have your lesson branch name for that particular lesson here, and it should say main here. If you see Code the Dream School anywhere in here when you're getting ready to do a pull request, then slow your roll and change the base to your own main. To look at your pull requests in the pull request tab, then you can take a look at any that are open. You can take a look at any that are closed to see if there was this. Oh, wow, I have like nothing on this repository. But you can take a look at your pull requests that are open and closed through the pull request tab. And those are the things I like to highlight. I think that's about, oh, and on code, if you need to switch between your branches, then you can always switch between branches there to be able to see like what's the difference between one and the other. Yeah, cool. As Diana had said, definitely reach out to mentors if you're feeling uncomfortable with Git, if you're getting sticky spots in GitHub, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's not you.
Mhm.
It's,
Yeah.
it's GitHub.
And please don't do so. We've had a number of intro students, God love their souls, that have completely like deleted everything and restarted when they could have just like gone back to a previous commit. So please save yourself the time and headache of like scratch everything and go back to the drawing board. There is usually a way to get back to whatever is your most recent semi-working code. So save yourselves all the time and please don't completely like gut everything and start over. Get on a call with a mentor and find where your last working item was. Awesome. Okay, moving right along. We've covered class, we've covered tools. What happens when you're, putting right along in class and then problems crop up? Diana, did you want to talk a little bit about what they can do when they're facing challenges?
Sure. Um, the basics of it is just ask questions and be communicate with me or with your mentors. Are the basic student expectation in the class is to do your best to submit your assignment every week on time. So just so you know, if you don't submit anything or attend a session or answer any of our messages for a few weeks, you will be dropped from the class. This is not a judgment call. This is not a judgment thing. You're not blacklisted. We're not mad. This is just an administrative thing. Just so you know that we're going to take that kind of absence of communication as you wanting to drop from class. So be sure just let us know if anything's coming up. We'll try to keep an eye on and any other kinds of natural disaster type things that would make you not able to communicate with us. But do your best to pop in, maybe just on your phone, leave a message and say that you're having trouble with your computer this week or you're traveling or anything else. So your go-to resources are listed here. This is, I think, was covered in your intro slides. So we won't have to go through them specifically, but these are a list of your resources in no particular order. So if you think you should just message me first because you don't know what's what, that's cool. If you want to message your assignment reviewer or your mentor or someone you're familiar with, that's also cool. If you are falling behind and don't have a handle on your time management, contact Lillian, the learning engineer. She's great. And then another note is that unlike most classes that Code the Dream has, we're not having another Ruby on Rails cohort after this, so there's not much of a defer option as you may have had in the past. So we're just gonna do our best to keep everyone as on track as they can be, and we'll be pretty serious about the catch-up plans. So
Exactly.
talk
Yeah,
to me
that's
and I'll help you prioritize what you have to learn first and things like that. So we want everyone to graduate.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is since this is the last chance to take Ruby with us. So as soon as you're starting to slip, reach out to somebody, communicate to somebody, because it's a lot easier to get back on track when it's like, oh, I'm only a week off of schedule than it is to be like, now I'm 3 weeks off of schedule. Oh my goodness. So make use of your mentors, make use of Lillian, our learning engineer, make use of Diana and myself. Just reach out if something's starting to go awry, so that way we can help you out and make sure that you succeed. Cool. Okay, so some student expectations. A lot of you probably are already familiar with this, especially if you're returning students, but just to kind of highlight them again and reiterate them. Respect for each other, volunteers, staff, like every good relationship is built on respect. Um, and so we ask everybody who's a part of Code the Dream, just respect one another, know that people are dealing with more than what you see or hear about. So treating people with some grace and some patience and treating them how you'd want to be treated if you're going through anything remotely challenging, which a lot of us are, then please be patient with one another. So yeah, we like to keep this as a pretty friendly, safe space, support one another. And we just want that to maintain throughout the program, whether you're in this class or future classes. For academic integrity, so that means just being honest about what work is yours as you're learning. We've already said for AI, you can use it to write simple code in your advanced classes, but the bulk of your work really is supposed to be yours. Do not write it with AI. You definitely can use that AI reviewer for reviewing your code. It's a great way to find out, am I on track? Am I not on track? And kind of get an idea of where you stand. We expect academic integrity and honesty. If we are seeing abuse or misuse of AI, if we're seeing plagiarism, if we're seeing copied code, then you could be asked to leave and not return to the program. Shortcutting like that is only just cutting yourself off at the knees. Like you're not learning what you need to learn to be successful, and it will show up one way or another at some point in time, whether it's now or whether you manage to make it into a job. Eventually, there will be a tell, and it will not be a pleasant experience. So definitely have some integrity as you're working through. Uh, Educational engagement is the most important student expectation. If you don't let us know there's a problem, we can't read your mind. We don't know what's going on. And we're going to read you not turning in assignments, you not showing up for mentor sessions as you're just disengaging. Either you're overwhelmed because life is just blah right now, which happens to us, and that's fine. But then do yourself a favor and focus on you. Take a leave of absence. We'll still be around. We're not going anywhere. We are not funded in a way that we might just fold or anything like that. We're going to be around. So go take care of you and then come back. And don't just sit quietly by thinking, well, maybe I'll get it next week. Maybe I'll understand it next week. Like, if there's something that you're not understanding, it's really miserable to feel embarrassed about that. It's really miserable to feel like you don't know something or to be struggling more than you need to. So reaching out to either a one-on-one mentor to get that one-on-one help, or reaching out to Diana to talk about like, this is what's going on. I don't know how to go from here, and getting that help is really going to be important. Don't let an opportunity to learn pass you by because you're too afraid to reach out for help. Um, it's a free program. Utilize all of the resources. If somebody said, hey, we're giving out free ice cream, like I'm in there for 4 scoops, people, bring it on. So please do that. Like utilize all of the resources that we offer you because they are free. Take advantage of them. Ask a classmate, ask a mentor, do research on your own, just be an active learner, respect one another. You're going to be struggling, people will be struggling. Mentors are dying to help you. Like, I have had mentors in past classes that are like, nobody's scheduled a one-on-one with me. I'm so sad. So please don't make our mentors sad. Like, if you need help, or if you just want to talk to them about, like, can you show me something you've worked on so I can understand what this looks like in a real world setting or whatever, utilize them. They are excellent resources and they're excited to be here and help you. They are volunteers, which means they want to be here. So please make use of them. And then lastly is the AI policy. We've touched on it before. Again, you can use it for bits and pieces, but use the majority of your code written by yourself. Use that AI review tool and please give us feedback on it. Let us know if you love it, if you hate it, what's working, what's not working. Awesome. Questions about student expectations before I move on to what to do for asking for help? Nice. All right. Um, so the advice I usually give when asking for help is try and solve it on your own first, so that way you can at least come to somebody and be like, I tried XYZ and it didn't work, because that's showing a good faith effort of making an attempt at problem solving, and it's working that lovely muscle up there in your heads to get you thinking, if I hit a wall, what do I do? You know, if I'm out in the ocean and there's not a life preserver, how do I tread water? When you are asking for help, be very clear, be very specific. So, this is the error I'm getting when I am doing this. This is what's happening. I'm using these systems. Those are all going to be really helpful keys to be able to get accurate answers quicker. If you just say, I am lost on lesson 7, all right, where are you lost? Are you lost on the lesson materials? Is there something unclear about those? Are you lost on the coding assignment? Is there something that's giving you an error? So rather than the back and forth of tell me more about this, tell me more about that, give as much information as you can on the first go round. And that way, people can help you more effectively. And then advanced classes means you're very close to being job ready if you aren't already. So communicate professionally. It's always good to already get in that habit. Be clear, avoid vague messages, be patient with one another, be respectful, respect each other's time. If you're not going to show up to something, let somebody know, hey, I'm really sorry, I have to cancel last minute. If there's something that's not happening the way it should, then communicate that to your supervisors, which are Diana and myself. So if you have mentors that are no showing, if you have reviewers that aren't getting things back to you within a few days' time, then we need to know about that. If we don't see those interactions because we aren't on the one-on-one with you and your mentor, we don't know what's happening. You have to let us know. So just communicate professionally. Let us know, hey, I scheduled this, but they weren't able to make it, and I hadn't heard from them that they weren't able to make it, so I was waiting. Things like that will be very helpful. To thrive is to make sure that you're planning. That's why we had you do those study plans as part of your registration process. If you carve out your time now and stay pretty true to that, then that's going to help you know where you can adjust your time from week to week. You'll have some weeks that are heavier, some weeks that are lighter, just because of how you're learning. Maybe some things are already familiar to you to some degree, and some things are brand new. So planning, oh, this looks like it's going to be a topic that I'm really unfamiliar with. Let me give myself a little extra time this week is going to be helpful. You can totally work ahead. That's fine to do. Know that your reviewers might not be able to stay on track if you're working really fast ahead, and or just message them and give them a heads up so that way they know, oh, okay, you're fine. You're just working through your process. It's okay if I don't turn around reviews instantaneously. Um, and utilize those study plans. Anything that you wanted to add to this, Diana? I feel like maybe there's something helpful as far as thriving that I'm forgetting.
Um, I would just, as a personal recommendation, I know it's really tempting to try to fit all of your work into the one day or like the weekend or something, but coding is just like learning any other language or I don't know, living any other lifestyle. It's better if you touch upon it every day or as many days as possible, even if it's just 15 minutes of doing like small code problems, or doing the reading throughout the week and then coding later, just trying to like give it time for your brain to absorb the information. So I know you already made your study plans, but if you can, do it more days out of the week than not.
Yeah. Even if it's just like looking over what you did the day before, like even if you're not actually going to be coding or looking at something new, like just take 10 minutes when you're, waiting for your dinner to cook in the oven and scroll through and be like, okay, what was that lesson material about? All right, cool. That's all very helpful stuff to kind of chunk and check. All right, cool. So that was student experiences. Any or experiences, expectations. Anybody have any questions as far as like what we expect of you? All right, cool. You guys are a quiet bunch. That or
Uh,
Diana, you're just extremely.
sorry, I have a
Yeah, go ahead,
question.
Tom.
How many days we can be late for submissions of weekly assessment? Two
Yeah,
days?
ideally you want to be turning your assignments in Tuesday night, 11:59 p.m. your time. So that's what you want to be shooting for. That's the best way to go. If you're gonna be turning it in later than that, then make sure you have a plan for yourself. Like, I will turn this in by Wednesday night instead of Tuesday night, so that way I don't get too far off track of my next week. A lot of your weeks can build from week to week, so making sure that you have the current week down before you move on to the next is going to be really important. Did that kind of help answer your question, Fong, or did I not quite hit
Yeah,
the mark there?
it's good. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
I also wanted to add that I personally would rather you submit a mostly done assignment just to get someone's eyes on it, than for you to wait till it's perfect and maybe because I know a lot of times people wait like a week because like not everything's working. I'd rather you get like 80% of it in, and get feedback from your reviewer and then send in a revision than wait too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good advice. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thanks. Thanks for the question. Other questions out there about expectations before we move on? Cool.
I have another
Oh
question. I'm
yeah, go ahead,
sorry.
Stephanie. Absolutely.
Um, in the intro class, the requirement was to join a mentor, at least one mentor session. Is that the same here?
Yes, yeah, same expectation in this class. So one group session a week. You absolutely have to attend one group session a week. We know that group sessions might be at a horrible time for you. Most of the time, we try and have them hit on weeknights or weekends. Sorry, weeknights during the week. Yeah, yeah, weekday nights, weeknights. Sorry, my brain broke for a minute there. Or weekends. But if it's like, I can't make any of these group sessions, then that's fine. Go ahead and schedule a one-on-one instead. Even if it's a week where you're like, okay, I'm good. I know all of this. I'm fine. Still go ahead and schedule a one-on-one, even if it's just for like 10 minutes to hop on the call and say, hey, this was the lesson that I did. I didn't have any questions. I feel like this is pretty good. I've already submitted my work, or I'm finishing up this and then I'll submit it. Just having that connection with somebody to be able to keep the accountability there and just to get somebody's like acknowledgement that, okay, yes, yeah, you are on the right track. Because there might be some tidbits that they can share with you beyond the curriculum, like, hey, we're learning about, I don't know, something related to Rails. I'm not a Ruby Rails developer, so this is going to be really vague. I'm sorry. We're learning about Rails this week, and I've done everything. Everything looks perfect. I've checked all of the boxes on the coding assignment. You hop on a mentor session, and they could be like, oh, yeah, that thing you learned in Rails, I've used it in this way in some other job. So it can be used in more ways than just the way that you learned it this week. So getting that mentor connection one way or another every week is going to be really helpful and key. Any other
Thanks.
questions? And hopefully that answered you, Stephanie. But if not, then unmute and tell me, no, you didn't answer that good enough.
Yes, thank you. I,
Perfect.
I used to watch the videos sometimes,
Wonderful.
and yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I hope they're available.
And yeah, and the same would be true. Any group mentors that record their sessions, we have a repository linked in that class information tab in your Slack announcements channel. So that way you can take a look. If you absolutely can't make a one-on-one session, if you absolutely can't make a group session, look at the recordings, get yourself some kind of exposure to be able to know, okay, I understand this, I'm on track, I have a resource, and I'm making sure that what I understand tracks with everybody. Um,
Perfect, thanks.
yeah, absolutely. There were a couple questions in the chat. Let me make sure I'm addressing them. So know if we can. You don't need to let us know if you can't make a group session. Just go ahead and schedule a one-on-one. The mentors will take attendance at group sessions, and the one-on-one mentors are supposed to report to us as well that they have had a one-on-one session with you. So that way we know that you're being engaged with mentors and getting the help that you need. There will be a practicum after this class. About week 10 of your class, we'll have a next steps meeting, and that's where we'll go over like when practicum starts, what you need to do in order to be able to join the practicum, what you would do at the end of practicum if you're interested in applying for the apprenticeship. All of those details will come out that week 10 on a next steps meeting with you all. Cool, cool. All right, nice. Diana, did you want to highlight a couple of the resources? Oh, wait, Tristan raised his hand. Go ahead, Tristan.
For the practicum, we usually team up with another cohort. Would that be React students?
So for the Ruby Rails practicum, it's actually just Ruby Rails grads only. You all just form little groups of like 3 to 5 people. Actually, I think 3 or 4 people, because Ruby and Rails is more efficient and requires fewer bodies on there. So 3 or
Oh
4
wow.
people to a group. And Frank Stepanski is in charge of our practicum coordinating and getting everybody trained up and on groups and mentorship for the groups and all of that stuff. So he'll be in the next steps call with you in week 10. But yeah, it'll just be Ruby on Rails grads together forming teams. You don't sync up with a React front end person or sync up with a Node backend person, which would really not make sense if you're using Ruby.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, great question.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Practicum is not compulsory. We do recommend it because it gives you access to like project management tools. You get to see sort of what the process and workflow is when you're doing team development. So you can see how multiple people are working on the same code base without stepping on each other's toes. And you get to work on a project from start to finish. So you can kind of see the whole life cycle of a project. Anybody who graduates the Knifejaw class is able to take the Ruby on Rails practicum in the fall. So as long as you complete this class satisfactorily, then you can move on to the practicum in the fall. If you want to apply for the apprenticeship as a Rails developer, you do have to complete the Ruby on Rails practicum. Nice. Okay. So yeah, Diana, if you want to kind of reiterate, remind about the different resources that are available to folks.
Sure. Just to review, we'll be doing group mentor sessions over Zoom. That Zoom link will probably also be available to you to use in other times. If you have any questions, let me know. A lot of times one-on-one sessions will just be over Slack huddles or Google Meet. Slack is again the place where you will get all of your announcements and where you can contact all of us, and be sure to check it as often as you feasibly can or turn on notifications for it. GitHub is where we will be storing our repositories and code. And then when we talk about the Learns app, that's the Code the Dream Learns web app. It has all your assignments on it and the AI reviewer tool that you are testing for us. Just to differentiate the people again, one-on-one mentors, they hold one-on-one sessions with you. So you can cover either, I mean, basically you cover whatever you want. It could just be, what did we cover this week? Or I'm having this problem with my homework, or I'm having this problem with this topic. So that is linked in the announcements, one of the canvases in the announcements channel of Slack. And you can schedule those directly from there in that gallery view that we had before. I'm using Calendly. Group mentors will be setting weekly sessions, and those will also be listed in Slack. And those are more like classes. So you join with multiple students, and those will be over Zoom. Hopefully they get recorded, and those recordings will get uploaded to the gallery.
Awesome.
Then assignment reviewers, who may or may not also be one-on-one mentors, are the ones that are going to be going over your assignments. They should be getting in touch with you early on to introduce themselves. And so just open up the communication if you have any questions on your assignments or any comments they have on your assignments. It's important that y'all communicate well. Let me know if your reviewers aren't reviewing or responding to you within a few days, just so I know that, because I have no way of knowing otherwise. And cohort leader, that's me. I'm the catch-all. So I can answer your administrative questions. I can answer technical questions in a pinch. Or just, if you have any life concerns, just let me know.
As you've probably observed in this call, Diana is extremely approachable and very friendly, and we love her. She's been a cohort leader for us for multiple classes, and we're so excited to have her back again. So yeah, if you need anything, excellent resource. I highly recommend. 10 out of 10. All right, cool. So we've finished all of our agenda items, questions and answers. You don't ask the questions, you don't get the answers. So if you got any questions, hit us up now. We're just that good, Diana.
My cat did not make an appearance. It's too hot for even her to be awake.
I have a question.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Fong.
What is the apprentices?
Yeah, so the apprenticeship, it's a paid full-time remote position with our Code the Dream Labs. So as you saw in the welcome videos, the way we're structured is we've got the learns side, which is the classes, and then the labs side, which is our development shop that works on projects for real clients, real world projects. The majority of the people who are building those projects in the development shop are graduates out of our program that have applied for the apprenticeship and been accepted. But unfortunately, with the hiring changes in the tech industry, then a lot of our apprentices aren't moving on to external jobs. So we've had a little bit of a bottleneck recently. That's been making our apprenticeship extremely competitive. And we've had smaller numbers that we've been able to bring in as apprentices. Hopefully, the pendulum will swing the other way and they will be able to move out of our nest and we can refill those empty nest spots with you all that are graduating out of classes and practicums. It really does vary from time to time because it depends on hiring, where people get hired, how quickly they get hired out of our program. But the majority of our apprentices do get hired out of our out of our program. I think it's like 85 or 86% or something of apprentices go on to external tech jobs. But yeah, full-time, remote, paid benefits. You do have to have work authorization in the US because it's an employee-employer kind of relationship. And in that next steps meeting that we have week 10, then we'll go over all the further details on it. But basically, you would be hired on for about a year to work on a Ruby Rails project that we have built or that we will be building for a client. And so you would work on various bug fixes and feature improvements or, anything of that variety.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Other questions? I know, it's late. That's why people don't have questions. My brain turned off a little bit ago too. It's okay. You will probably come up with questions. That's fine. Diana and I both will have office hours from July 2nd to July 8th. We'll be posting information about how to schedule with us in Slack on your Knifejaw announcements channel. So keep an eye on that. And if you need anything in that kind of week leading up, then we are around. So that way you can connect with us and let us know what kind of hiccups you're running into and we can get things squared away. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great rest of your week and just holler if you need anything.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mary.
Mary.
Thanks, Diana.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You guys are the best.
Love you all. You're going to do
Thank
great.
you.
Oh, look at all those hearts, Diana, using your reaction.
I slowly melt. I'm like, wow.
I know, yeah. Drip, 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 drip.
Yeah.
So hot outside. All right, cool.
Wow.
All right, then I'll
Wow.
go ahead and end our meeting. Hit me up if there's anything that you need, okay?
It's good. Have a good
Thanks.
night. Stay cool.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, before you, oh, no.